Welcome to Groundswell.
This is a space for conversations at the edge of change, where patterns of culture and consciousness shape the world we're actually living in.
I'm Chloe.
And I'm Sam.
Let's get into the shift.
Interestingly enough, I love that you brought this up, and I love when I just follow my intuition and it ends up being correct time. Because this week, before this week started, I was like, I need to really reflect on where my energy leaks are. I almost feel like maybe it's similar to the idea that we're supposed to be cleaning out our space every 6 months. Because I almost feel like I did this 6 months ago, where I did look into my energy leaks and I shifted some things around.
Yeah.
So I just did that recently, and then that's actually so aligned to what we're dealing with the astrology.
Well, and I also would offer quarterly, every season, we should be doing an energetic audit of our leaks, of our blockers, which is what we're going to talk about in a little bit more detail, and our openings, our potentials, our possibilities.
Yeah.
And I
so-
think we don't know what that is until we kind of move through the blocker. At least that's how it often shows up to me. We talked about this a little bit last time, but the path doesn't reveal itself often until you make the clearing.
That's so true. And I feel like some of the signs are feeling like that, the blocker, the stuck, stagnant, unable to create the movement that we're really looking for, which again is really fluctuating over the seasons of how we reflect and we release things and we move forward and we learn.
Yeah, and blockers are self-imposed. The limits are what we make it in our mind. So if we can go beyond the limit, then it's a vast opportunity. At least that's how I see it energetically. And I try to embody that to the best of my ability every day, but I know good and well that I get in my own way as everybody else.
Well, we're human, and I would definitely say that blockers fall under the shadow of ourselves, right? It's the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing about the blocker is that you can't see it. So
Yeah.
it is about recognizing the energy around it and saying, okay, so now I'm feeling the stagnation. I'm feeling, and again, that requires being present enough to be able to check in with that energy, which is again a daily task. It's something that we always have to work for.
Yeah, and something I was reading about in the book you gave me, the Syrian book, is this kind of materialist idea of cause and effect, but really it's resonant causation is the energetic version of that. So it's not that okay, you clear the blocker, then the thing is going to immediately happen, whatever you think the thing is. It's literally just a step towards greater flow.
Yes. Yes. To allow, and then because again, I would say that to me sounds like the lesson of letting go of the outcome. Yes, remove
Yeah,
the
yes.
blocker, but don't expect what's going to happen when you remove the blocker. The blocker, it's there, but we don't know what's on the other side, like you said.
No, truly. And I think one of the greatest examples I have in my life of moving through a blocker is when I moved in my last place prior to my relationship with Rachel. And it was a new neighborhood. I didn't really know the surrounding area. And I have kind of had a history in my life of feeling safer inside than outside. And so I can pass days at a time, literally never leaving the house. And so this is where the brave sticker came from. This idea of literally like slapping my Brave sticker on. And what had happened to this particular morning was I woke up, I literally like got on like the next door app just to see what was going on in the neighborhood. And there was an image of in a post of this missing car, and it had like specific details on it and decals on it that day, which was just like getting out in the world, pushing past my fear. Is I literally decided I was like gonna go on a walk and I was going to take a route separate from what I had done previously. So I take off on this walk, and within literally 2 blocks, I find the missing car that was posted. It was like instant. It was like divine messaging. I was literally like guided to reunite this car with its owner. It had been missing for 2 fucking weeks when I found it. And I think it ended up just being towed, like it was in a no parking zone, and it was towed because it didn't appear like broken into or anything. But then the ripple effect of that was when I was beginning my spiritual practice. So I then took this moment of like, wow, I really was divinely guided here. And I listened to that. So I offered her a tarot reading. And so we went. This is the other thing. I was debating whether or not I should just do it over Zoom or whether I should meet up with her in person. So again, I like slapped my Brave sticker on. I moved past this blocker of like what would be more comfortable, or at least what I thought would be more comfortable. And then we met up in this place. I gave her the reading. And as we were packing up and leaving from literally like across the room, this person goes, "Were you just doing a tarot reading?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "I'm a publisher at Hay House and I do spiritual works." And so that moment to me is like ingrained in me about how like literally just following the slightest intuition and moving past your fears and your blockers opens up a world of opportunity.
And
Like one of the most significant moments.
I think that it takes like a lot of awareness to be able to move, like you said, like it was perceived comfort. And so there's like there, especially like for someone like me who's like learning how to listen to my body, it's kind of like I need to listen to what is comfortable for me and feels good in my soul, but then be aware and like reflect enough to know that like sometimes like comfort is me wanting to stay in a safe place where I'm not pushing past things or putting myself into new opportunities. Like, yeah, you needed to be like out in the world making connections. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then that person, I exchanged numbers. We went on to have a bit of a connection. And yeah, it's like the path reveals itself once you're brave enough to take the step. But a lot of times it requires like clearing out the blockers. And so that's, a word that we both now collectively use is like when you start to feel like energetic resistance, like what is the blocker? Can you think of an example in your life? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I can think of an example for you.
absolutely. There's been multiple. I mean, I think my computer was a really big one. Is that
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is that
yeah,
what you were
yeah.
thinking? What were you thinking of?
I was thinking of the couch,
Oh,
but
okay, yeah,
like
that's
in the same vein.
another really good one. Actually, yeah, there's definitely been a few that have required me to get like physical things for the energy to move in other ways. So I think that's like interesting also. But then what I was actually reflecting on this week was like feeling really overwhelmed. And I'm like, what am I doing that I'm
Mm,
feeling like so burned out by? You know what I mean? And when I reflected with Star Path, when I looked into what my actual energy leaks were, I was like, oh, I actually just have like a lot of very big, important projects in my life and they all deserve like
mm,
equal timing. But when I'm not like scheduling out my time and having like a bit of a routine around it, then every single day I wake up, all these things are competing for my energy. So it's like these big
yeah.
projects where like I have to make big moves and it's not that I'm doing nothing, but it's also like I'm simultaneously like not really moving forward with it, which again is like the literal feeling of the energy not moving forward. It's just like I'm
Yeah.
I'm circling around
Well,
these things. Yeah.
it's like being so overwhelmed by all the ideas and all the like future pathways and all of the things that like you envision and that you anticipate happening, but that like launch point sometimes is so hard to find. And it's because rather than going, I'll speak for myself, rather than just remembering it as an iterative step by step process, it's like, okay, well, how am I going to be suddenly have a full book full of clients doing end of life planning based in astrology? Like, okay, well, I'm first need to identify like the template and the questions and then the documents corresponding. Like, we just have to start like ideating on the steps because,
Yes.
like, same, right? And we've been in this same boat where we have been transpiring into like these versions, like we're finding work that also is like life sustaining, and we've never done it before because
Yeah.
we both, you've come from a school system and a corporate system, come from a corporate system. Like when other people tell you what to do, it's comfortable, it's easier because you don't have to think, and that's literally how they've coached us.
I wonder too, like as we start to name this, like if we could pull in some of the astrology, because like again, a lot of the astrology right now, I can't think of exactly what, are pulling on themes of embodying the life that you want. So it's like again, it's creating the
Mm,
conditions where the life that you want can exist. It's aligning yourself and your energy to pull, like you said, how do I move from where I am today, like, not having any clients, to a place where I'm working comfortably. I'm not overworked, but I'm abundant with the work that I want that like fulfills me. You know what I mean? And like yeah, that was like ultimately the goal of the schedule that I made, and I basically like set it out so that I do different things on different days. And then it's like okay, I'll do what I can on this day, and then whatever I can't finish, the next time I'll work on it will be the next day that I work on it, not just like, oh, I didn't do that in my mind and now I have to like feel bad about it. You know what I mean? It's like you said, it's
well,
the routine.
yeah, and everyone approaches time differently. Like time exists for people differently.
Yeah.
So like if you're waking up in the morning and you're like, okay, well there's, what feels like a gazillion hours in the day, and you're thinking that you're going to try to dip into three different like projects, like, two an hour each or 2 hours each or whatever, like it's too much. Like we actually can't do that well. And then you're also weaving in like literal like admin, like life, right? Like paying bills, doing laundry, like getting gas, like shit like that. And so I think, yeah, the like stability around it and like the more like achievable like steps, like one thing and a couple, like one big focus maybe and like a couple low hanging fruits. I like to use like I like to approach low hanging fruits first personally because I like being able to kind of like check little things off my list.
I think that like honestly part of this too is that it is very much your design. So it depends. So
Right.
you as a double Virgo, those things work for you. Like you can get those done.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's not always the best for me. Like sometimes it's better for me to have a container of when I do things like that so that I can drop deeply into other work, right? Like where I can work on my
Yeah.
dissertation or study or read for like hours on end. Like that's actually what I'm really good at. But like without the containers of time, like the intensity is just like I'm feeling intense all the
Mm,
time. I'm feeling overwhelmed all the
yeah.
time, where Whereas like now, and again, like speaking to the flow of the energy and like how the flow of the energy puts you like in the right place at the right time because you're able to be present in those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's not a strict schedule. It's just like days that I will work on these things. And like even this week has felt like so much different because I'm like, oh, I know when I'm gonna go do this. It's not me thinking or not having that over my head for so long, you know? It's like I can put that away there.
Yeah, no, I love that. That makes perfect sense. And I even have been able to kind of like bounce off of that a little bit because we share part of our schedule and because our individual bodies of work like feed into our shared work. Like it makes sense too that like that's a mirror for me. So, like, on days where you're doing your individual focus, I'm also doing individual focus. And
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Yeah, because then sometimes I get stuck in the low hanging fruit, never getting into the deep
Mm,
shit because I'm stuck, deciding I'm going to clean my whole house or like not having a container around when I'm cleaning, so then getting kind of like lost in it when I'm doing it. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely a trap I fall into as well. Because again, it's like it kind of shows up like this blocker energy where I'm like I will be able to focus more deeply if the house is clean, if the laundry is done, if the bread is made.
And,
Like,
and
but yeah,
often
it does kind of draw.
often when we do that, I feel like we're pushing off the most important work. It's weird how we
No,
do that to
literally. I
ourselves.
know.
Yeah, where
I
there's
know.
a balance around like sometimes my house isn't like perfectly clean because like I need to work on other things. Like now I have more of a routine around when I clean so I can again not be like so concerned about it. I'll know that I'll have time later to do it. Yeah. And also, yeah, so I would just like want to say like that I think it's important that people look into their astrology to like understand or just like honestly feeling, right? Like it's like you
Yeah.
you have in here resistance as information. So if I really don't want to do something, like it's actually time for me to really assess why I'm doing that. Like,
Yeah, totally. So regarding the astrology though, and I think something that absolutely plays into this is Chiron is at the 0 degree of Taurus.
yeah, okay.
Duh. Like literally, duh. It's like us transforming our pain to power, our wounds to gifts, like in stability, like choosing that stability. What is stable for me is knowing that like my life's work is around working with death work and end of life planning. And because it's how we live, like knowing that information about ourselves bolsters how we live. And so when I like put things off that further that work to clean, like, why am I doing that? I would much rather be doing this other thing, but I tell myself that there's so many other tasks.
Yeah. So the blockers just like I feel like show up so differently for people. But yeah. Well, and like how we approach stuff is just like it tends to be so opposite. And that's why we are so magical together is because we like are actually like so different and that fuels what we create in conversation, in our work, you know? But I also think that well, sometimes it makes me really actually be more present to why I need to do things the way that I do them, which I think is like good for me. So it's
Mm.
like sometimes I'm like, no, I just have to do it this way. And then because I have to, not have to, but because I want to communicate it to you, I have to like almost think about it more and become like more aware. I'm like, wait, why do I do it that way?
It's so funny. Yeah, we do things so differently. So we do have to just be like extra clear. The other thing that just shifted that you connect very closely with is the nodes. So Virgo is the south node, and um, Pisces is the north node right now.
Yes.
Is that right? So like maybe dissolving a little bit more into the work rather than having these like rigid routines that are actually like holding us back a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. And
It's
now,
so real.
and then the notes are shifting in July, right?
I mean, what I'm seeing is 1 degree. We've moved into the first degree point.
The notes actually move backwards.
So, so it's going to
So
strike zero.
so it's at the very end actually of its time in Pisces and Virgo.
Yeah. Right. Because it's moving, it's shifting Leo to Aquarius. Yeah. So we are like at the edge or at the growth's edge of realizing that there are like, there's a Virgo rigidity that's been holding us back from truly like dissolving into our body of work. And then when that clock goes zzz, then we're going to be in Leo to Aquarius, which are both like huge energies.
Well, and that is my north and south node. My north node is Aquarius, which is where it will be, and then my south node is Leo. And then also Jupiter is in Leo right now.
Mm-hmm. How does the Leo South Node show up?
I think it's ego.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's
Ooh.
like yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about like the lion,
Yeah.
it's like there's kind of two ways of like being a leader and in that kind of like proud position, or like knowing that you have things that are like worth saying and worth showing to other people, and then like how to actually sit in that energy of like I know everything and I'm better than you ego, versus
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
like share this information with you confidently.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes perfect sense for the collective future because that's Aquarius.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, God. That's
um
crazy.
yeah. And then Jupiter is going to be in, or I think it already has moved, or maybe it's very soon moving. Is Jupiter? I guess I
Very
could look.
soon moving.
Okay. Yeah.
It's at 29 degrees Cancer right now. So,
Okay, so,
yeah, it
so
is about to,
in like a few days or something
I think
maybe.
the 30th.
Okay,
Yeah, I
perfect.
was looking at it and I think it's the 30th that it shifts.
Well,
And Venus is still there as well. So like
mm,
Jupiter and Venus in Leo of all signs, like literally the sign of love. So we're expanding how love force governs.
yeah. And then the for Gemini risings, Leo is their third house of communication, which is why like a lot of things are like, okay, you should be speaking, you should be sharing what you have to say with the world. Like the time is literally now.
I feel like now that we've just like kind of taken a moment to like notice the idea of like blockers of getting out of our own way and how that like restores flow and just recognizing that like we all move through moments in life where things might feel stuck or sticky or there might be like some resistance and just really kind of like then naming those obstacles that we can like overcome, like how we can kind of clear that space to like move forward and navigate it, because as we've talked about a lot and as I think like you've been working on a lot is like it's not about pushing harder, it's just about clearing the blocks. And I love that you brought your laptop up as an example because like technology, especially if it's aged out, like it really does impact your flow.
Yeah. In a world like we are now where it's very online, like most of the work that I'm doing is through my computer. It doesn't make sense to not have a working computer. And then
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I think that if I were like, and again, like kind of the steps that we go back to of like remaining present, and also how we like work with the energy is going back to the routines and ways that we know that will clear the energy, that will make light for us. Like the decluttering of space, which is something that you've really taught me, like just to be, getting rid of things that you're not using anymore, gifting them to the world, and and then also kind of doing that with our, I don't know, with ourselves too, like the clearing the physical and energetic clutter.
Yeah, there's a Swedish philosophy, death cleaning, the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning. And it's this idea that like we hold on to a lot of material items, and those material items all carry a lot of energetic weight. And so by going through and clearing out your space and giving gratitude to things that like have served you, that you no longer need, that can actually be recycled back into the universe, that can give life and love to somebody else, like it actually has even more power when you choose to like give gratitude and let it go. And like especially when physical things hold energetic memory, and it's like all the more important to just recognize when something has completed. And so like another thing that I've done, maybe you've done as well, is like burn things, like old letters, have burned old letters and send it back to ash, back to the ether. I did a sound, I told you this earlier, that I did a gong journey last night, a gong bath. Gongs are fucking crazy. They are a completely different soundscape, and it just shakes. I mean, most of your body is water, right? So like I knew going into this gong bath that I was potentially going to be like really exhausted, but I just surrendered. I just literally laid there and let whatever reorganization needed to happen in my body happen. I slept in it. I was feeling like really heavy this morning, and rather than being like stuck in the heaviness, I feel so much clearer now because I've since moved it.
And then in breath work last night for me, like my body was moving a lot. Like that it was like the first time that I'd
Yeah.
experienced like so much movement. I feel like I'm gonna
Yeah.
cry about it.
Cry.
It's like it's
What came up?
a lot of stuff. Well, and then like literally because I like re-obsessed with Star Path again. Like I'm like, oh my god, I love Star Path actually.
Yeah, it's so supportive.
It's literally so fun to reflect on stuff, but it does open up a lot of shit because you're like, oh my god, like this is crazy. But I used it before I went to breathwork, and I was like, based on the current transits, like what should I be focusing on releasing during breathwork? And it was literally like,
Mm.
I don't know why this is making me cry so it was like well, totally Capricorn full moon themes for sure. But it was like, what are you holding on to, like that you can release, that you can let go of?
Well, what is it, Chloe?
Well, and then I was
Release
like,
it here.
then it was like instead of, because you know how like breath work is like it's so well, that's why it's making me cry without like actually feeling like a lot of sadness about it. Is because it's so somatic, so it's actually like releasing the patterns in your body. And I think sometimes we release the patterns in our mind before we release them in our body. So,
Yeah.
or at least for me,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'll feel like I've kind of gotten over or released an idea about something, but then it's like weird how it'll still show up as active in my body, and it came up in like my back and like my shoulders, like
Mm.
literally carrying too much.
Yeah. Oh.
And so then it was like instead of like thinking about like what it is that you're carrying too much, think about like where it shows up. And then I was like having like a lot of those like, like those tiny twitches that we've talked about that sometimes feel like sometimes I feel like they're message from spirit when I'm just like sitting there, but like also sometimes it feels like it's like energy being released.
Yeah, totally. And I also correlate the side. So if it's an activation on my left side, it's my
Mm.
yin. If it's an activation on my right side, it's my yang. So like feminine versus masculine energy. And so like yeah, like a shadow masculine energy a lot of the time is ego, right? Like, why does our ego think sometimes? I mean, it is sometimes protective, but a lot of the times, like, it is just like these like false stories we tell ourselves and we just like stick to it.
We just are
Like,
sticking
just
to
do it, take
them.
one step. take one step, do the one thing. Like,
Well, and now I'm connecting that
yeah.
like breath work is kind of like cleaning, where it's like it is kind of it's getting rid of energy out of your body that doesn't need to be there anymore. Like it does feel just like a total like it kind of feels like when you open up your whole house and like you have like that's what I did last night because like it was like really nice out and I was like, oh, it'll be so nice to
Yeah,
have.
it's been raining.
I know, and I was like, oh, it'll be so nice to have like the air coming, just like whatever, some a little bit of flow. um
Yeah, some fresh air, release shit out.
yeah, so that's sometimes how I feel about breath work is that it's like releasing it and then yeah, we're closing it up. We're fucking protecting ourselves.
The biggest thing that I did was chop my hair off.
Mm.
Like when my whole ass life has been like down to my ass, and it is luscious and it is long and it is beautiful, and it held so much trauma that by the time I realized that I like needed it gone now, I was like in
Well,
tears.
and now that you say it, like Leo is the crown and your
Mm.
hair is like it's a very Leo trait. Like I can always tell like a Leo or a Leo rising when they have like really good hair. Like I just know like
That's
they
funny.
have good hair. And so if for it to be your 12th house stellium, like your
Yeah,
hair was
yes.
actually yeah. I'm like, "Whoa."
Oh, that I know that's moving me. Thanks, Chloe, for like naming that and noticing that and reflecting that back to me for real. Because yeah, it's when you're going through something so energetically dense, something like cutting your hair to some people might seem like irrational, especially if they've known you to have like hair for so long or something. This isn't necessarily my experience. I'm just, sharing what might be some perspectives. But even when I scheduled my appointment with, I found a new hairstylist who specializes in hair, who specializes in pixies. And, I said, like, in the intake form, basically, I was like, I'm ready to like release this. And she told me when I arrived that normally she does like basically a mental health assessment on people who come in wanting to cut off like an entire lifetime's worth of hair. And she said when she saw me, she knew immediately that it was meant to be, that I was meant to cut my hair off, that I was like of right mind, that it was exactly what I was supposed to be doing. And
And okay, wait,
well,
when
it looks so me.
it's so you. When did you cut your hair? When was that?
Um, it was in January.
Okay. It wasn't that long ago,
Yeah,
but
so
it
it was like right at the new year. Yeah, about half a year.
well, and I knew you for almost a year before that. And the funny thing is to me is that I literally can't picture you with long hair anymore. Like it's
I
actually
know.
like doesn't even if I try to picture you, I like can't. It's so weird.
Yeah, same, same. And I think like because permission to change, right? Like I probably won't have this hair for the rest of my life because there is a version of me that I see like long, beautiful, lush gray hair or white hair. But
Mission to change.
permission to change.
Well, and
Yeah.
as we like all become more Gemini through the current transits, yeah, permission to change. That's so beautiful. Wait, you're worried about me.
Okay, I'll go again. So, in thinking about maybe identifying your blockers, just like putting resonance to them, like really honoring them and recognizing them, and then also realizing that like you have choice to make movement, to like clear the cutter, to death clean, to get rid of, move around. Like maybe it's literally just like rearranging. Like something that I did was switch rooms. Like I moved like an office with a bedroom. I like did a flip. We did that here with the basement. We had an office in the basement. We moved it to our other bedroom. So a lot of the times it can be movement just in your immediate environment, and just start to notice how that like creates space. So small actions that create momentum and movement.
And just like noticing what you're repeatedly thinking about. Like a lot of times I'll be thinking
Mm,
about changing something for a long time until I realize that I have to do it. And sometimes if I was able to notice it a little sooner, which honestly, like for my computer, like it had been like probably since you met me that my computer was not working very well.
yeah,
Well,
wow.
it was from 2020. But for some reason I had
Yeah.
told myself that I like wasn't allowed to like buy a computer, or like that I didn't have like the resources. Like my computer worked enough, it was fine. And then the resources appeared when I needed them. Whoa.
Yeah. But also like what does work enough mean? It like wasn't even holding battery.
No, it literally was like some made up state that I was in. Yeah, it was a little rough. But we're on to a new routine, and then like just kind of an ending idea or something that I liked that was in the possible threads was completion, release, and simplification. And
Yeah.
that can exist in complexity, because like I'm very deep and multifaceted, like that is who I am, and I can actually do multiple deep intense work at the same time in a way that simplifies it, right? Like
Yeah.
through a
Yeah.
routine that allows me to be deep in those spaces, it's actually simplified. So it's just like the permission to be both.
Yeah. It's kind of a muscle though too to go into the deep. So realizing that that takes time and kind of mastery as well.
Yeah, remember my Mars is in Scorpio? Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm honestly like that is like what I'm learning more and more is like understanding kind of like my power and capacity, like waking up to it. I'm like, "Oh shit, like I am so powerful," and like they want us to forget so bad.
My Pluto is in Scorpio in the third house. Like literally the deep is my root system. It's how I learn, how I communicate early.
My Pluto is also in Scorpio because we're millennials. And so yeah, so
Yeah, which I get.
Pluto Mars in the same house, in the sixth house.
Yeah. Yeah. Rawr!
It's crazy. Yeah.
But it is also like I'm glad that you mentioned like the millennial thing, because again like this is a placement for many of us, and
Mm.
so to have been told that you can't go there when literally it's our designed blueprint for evolution, like we're supposed to be going there.
We're Geminis. We're a mirror for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
If this resonated, feel free to share it and keep the conversation going with people in your world. Reach out to us at groundswellpod@gmail.com for literally anything else.
You can work with us individually too. Chloe at chloehodson.org and me, Sam, at heymadwoman.com. You'll find links to all that plus our Substack in the show notes. Thanks for being part of the shift.